right in the middle of the Saudi desert, in Riyadh, there's this building that honestly looks like it grew right out of the sand. It's the King Abdullah Petroleum Studies and Research Center, or KAPSARC for short. And yeah, it's absolutely jaw-dropping to look at, but what we're about to find out is that its beauty, well, it's way more than just skin deep.
I mean, look at it from the air. It's like this cluster of crystals just burst through the desert floor. It's kind of futuristic, almost alien-looking, just stunning. But here's the thing. This isn't just some big artistic statement. Nope. Every single one of those crystalline shapes, every facet, every angle, it's all there for a reason. Each one has a job to do.
And that right there is the big question, isn't it? Why does it look like this? What's with the whole honeycomb cellular thing? What problem was so big that this was the answer? All right, let's dive in and break it all down.
So, to really get why it has this shape, we've got to start with its purpose. And it all goes back to KAPSARC's really ambitious mission.
Okay, so KAPSARC is a nonprofit. Think of it as a global think tank, totally focused on the future of energy, sustainability, and our well-being. Its whole reason for being is to get experts from all over the world in the same place, to get them collaborating, and to share what they learn freely with everyone. So naturally, the building itself had to be that mission. It needed to feel open, connected, and built for the future. All right, so with that big mission in mind, the legendary architects at Zaha Hadid had a challenge. They needed a design that could handle all that collaboration and be super sustainable. And where did they find the perfect blueprint? They looked to nature. And what they landed on was the hexagonal honeycomb. You know, like bees make. It's one of nature's absolute masterpieces of efficiency. Why? Because you can use the smallest amount of material to build the strongest possible structure. It's just a perfect system of interlocking cells. So you might be thinking, why not just use squares or rectangles? Way easier, right? Well, think about it. A rectangle only has 4 sides for you to connect to something else. But a hexagon, it gives you 6. That's a huge difference. It means you get way more pathways, more opportunities for connection. It creates this super fluid, integrated space where people and, more importantly, ideas can just flow from one place to another. And get this, the design is also brilliantly future-proof. Since it's all modular, kind of like Legos, KAPSARC can actually grow over time. Say 10 years from now, they need a new research wing. No problem. They can just add more cells to the honeycomb. It expands seamlessly without messing up the original design at all. The whole thing is literally designed to evolve. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. This amazing interconnected campus sounds great, but it's in the middle of the Saudi desert. We're talking extreme heat. How do you make that work? Well, this is where the design goes from being clever to being an absolute oasis. I mean, that's the #1 challenge for any architect working there, right? How on earth do you create a space that's comfortable, let alone energy efficient, when the sun is just relentless? So part 1 of the solution is what they call the shell. The whole campus is cleverly positioned so its most solid protective side faces south, right where the sun is at its absolute worst. It's like the building is literally turning its back on the harshest sunlight to shield everything inside. But here's the cool part. While the outside is this tough protective shell, the inside is porous. It's full of openings. They strategically left some of the hexagonal cells open to create this network of absolutely beautiful shaded courtyards. This lets all this soft, natural daylight pour in, but without any of that brutal heat or blinding glare. And okay, this might be the most genius part of all. Built right into the roofs are these incredible wind catchers. What they do is they catch the cooler winds that usually come from the north, and they funnel that air down into those courtyards. It's basically a natural air conditioning system. The building is literally breathing. So the theory behind the design is incredible, for sure. But the big question is, does it actually work? Well, let's look at the numbers, because the results are, if anything, even more impressive. First off, KAPSARC is LEED Platinum certified. Now, if you're not familiar, that is the highest possible rating you can get for sustainable design. It's awarded by the U.S. Green Building Council, and it is an incredibly high bar to clear, especially for a project this massive in a climate this harsh. So what this means is that KAPSARC isn't just a pretty face. It's officially one of the most sustainable buildings on the entire planet. Let's dig into some of those numbers. Because of its smart design, KAPSARC uses 45% less energy than a normal building of the same size would.
100%, I mean, all of its drinking water is recycled and reused right there on site, and a full 40% of all the materials used to build it were sourced locally. And a huge piece of that energy puzzle is that the building makes its own power. That conference center roof, it's basically one giant solar panel array. It generates 5,000 megawatt hours of clean energy every single year. That's a massive amount. And this commitment to being green didn't just start when they opened the doors. Oh no, it went all the way back to construction. 30% of all the materials used were made from recycled content. 40% of them were sourced from within 500 miles, which drastically cut down on emissions from transport. And get this, 98% of the wood they used was certified as sustainably harvested. That's just incredible attention to detail. So when you put it all together, the big mission, the design inspired by nature, the brilliant solutions for the climate, and the hard data to back it all up, what you have is a true masterpiece. It's a living legacy to the vision of Zaha Hadid. The architects called their philosophy a holistic approach, and that's the perfect word for it. This was never just about designing a cool-looking building. It was about creating a single, unified system where every little piece, the engineering, the landscaping, the art, the science, all of it works together in perfect harmony with the environment. And that leaves us with one final, pretty massive thought. KAPSARC is proof. It proves that we can build things that are beautiful, that are functional, and that are deeply, deeply sustainable, even in the toughest places on Earth. So if a single research campus can pull this off, it really makes you wonder, what could a whole city achieve? What's stopping us?